Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. JANISSE, and today, in honor of the late George A. Romero, we're looking at his first ever feature, Night of the Living Dead, released in 1968. This video is dedicated to him. Night of the Living Dead is one of the most important horror films ever made because it basically created the modern zombie. Prior to Romero's first ever feature, you had your ghouls and you had your voodoo, but this is the movie that gave us reanimated corpses walking the earth and feasting on flesh. I know that's hard to believe, but look it up. Everything from The Walking Dead to World War Z can be traced back to this little indie film. And it is an indie film, man. Watching it half a century later, you're bound to pick up on its flaws, like its repetitive dialogue, its painfully slow second act, and shots that are blurry and out of focus. But it's also a masterful achievement in just as many ways, like with its handheld realistic shooting style, its slow build of the undead threat, and the fact that the hero was a black guy saving a bunch of white people back when segregation had only recently been struck down. There are seriously a million ways to talk about this film and its cultural impact, but let's rein it in for 15 minutes and just talk about the kills. The movie begins with a trip to the cemetery. Barbara and her brother Johnny are here to lay some flowers at the grave of their late father. Barbara's willing to put in some proper grieving time, but Johnny's more annoyed than anything.
Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning, huh?
He starts teasing her about how she used to be creeped out by the cemetery.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
And she fires back with class.
You're ignorant.
Things get real when a shambling guy in the cemetery walks up to them and grabs Barbara by the throat. Johnny rushes in to save her, but after a short little grappling sesh, the cemetery man knocks him down and smashes his head against a tombstone for our first kill of the movie. Looks like they were coming to get you, Johnny. The cemetery zombie turns his attention to Barbara and chases her into her car. He uses a rock as a tool to smash open the window, something we don't really expect zombies to do nowadays. After she rolls the car down a hill and crashes it against a tree, she takes off on foot, running down the road as the zombie slowly shambles after her. She comes across a dainty little farmhouse and runs inside, slamming the door shut behind her, although it looks like she had a little trouble closing it at the end there. I don't know what kind of Teddy Roosevelt aficionado lives here, but it looks like they're not home, as everything's pretty much silent, including the phone line, which is down. As Barbara looks out the window, she sees Cemetery Zombie invite his friends over for a house party, but she knows they ain't about to pitch in on the keg, so she doesn't plan on letting them in. She tries to go upstairs only to find a partially decomposed body, and that really does a number on her. Frightening her so much, she runs outside and into the headlights of a truck driven by Ben, who is about to be the hero we need for the rest of this movie. He ushers her inside and tells her his situation. That truck is out of gas, and he's hoping to use the pump out back to fill her up, but it's locked. While he explores the house, Barbara starts friggin' losing it, and her descent into complete uselessness is one of the most frustrating parts of this movie. Plus, she's running around all willy-nilly with a kitchen knife, and it's making me real nervous, man. The zombies start messing with Ben's whip, and he's not down with that shit, so he goes out there and opens up a can of whoop-ass with his crowbar. Another ghoul gets into the house, but before it can come to get Barbara, Ben stops him and knocks him down. He impales him in the head before locking out the rest of the oncoming horde. Hey, is that dead body supposed to be moving its eyes?
Don't look at it.
Alright, sorry. Maybe just have your extras be better at playing dead then. Ben burns the body, which upsets the other ghouls, then gets flashy with some tools as he sets out to secure the farmhouse. Barbara finally puts down that damn knife so I can breathe easier and helps Ben board up most of the windows. He tells her a story about a flaming gas truck covered in zombies. It's a nice little monologue that really brings out the theater acting in Dwayne Jones.
I started to drive. I just plowed right through them. They didn't move. They didn't run or just stood there staring at me.
Barbara tries to jump in on story time too, telling Ben about her brother.
And he said, "Can I have some candy, Barbara?" We didn't have any.
Ben's not very impressed.
Why don't you just keep calm?
But Barbara doesn't take his advice. In fact, she freaks out so much, she tries to leave to find Johnny, and Ben responds with a very of-the-time smack in the face. But don't worry, guys. I'm sure that treatment was a prescription given by a cigarette-smoking doctor to cure Barbara of her womanly hysteria. Ben turns on the radio, which reports that a mass wave of normal-looking people in trances are committing mass murder across the eastern United States. More zombies got that Facebook invite about the house party, so they show up, but Ben lights more fires to ward them off. This whole section gets pretty slow as Ben continues to board up the house and Barbara continues to be useless. He finds a gun in the closet along with some shoes for Barbara, so I guess you could say they're doing alright.
We're doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the radio, where way too much of this plot is advanced, a report says over and over that the mass murder victims are being eaten by their assailants. Barbara just stares in response. Hey, I really like these two shots. Could we see them both a bunch more times at increasingly close angles? Thank you. Her concentration is broken when out of the cellar pops these two dudes, Tom and Harry. I guess Dick must have been eaten by zombies. Wait, Tom is the hunky teen, and Harry Cooper's the slouchy bald guy who looks like he just got back from Mass on Ash Wednesday. Ben's miffed at them for staying downstairs while he did all the damn work securing the place, but Harry insists that the cellar's the safest place to be. It's a nice opportunity for a little philosophical debate.
We luck into a safe place, and you're telling us we gotta risk our lives just because somebody might need help, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
You can always count on zombie films to bring up arguments about morality and logic, and it's one of the most appealing parts of the subgenre for me. In the middle of their repetitive debate, some zombies reach inside and grab at Ben. He shoots one in the chest, only for the zombie to shake it off, so Ben has to take him out with a headshot. Now that zombie's got nothing in his brain. All the noise attracts a bunch more zombies though, including this naked zombie whose butt I'm gonna blur so I don't get freaking age-gated again. There's also a zombie that eats a bug, so this is shaping up to be the zombie house party of the freaking century. Someone call Zombie Kid and play. The guys get back to their circular argument, with Harry wanting to hide in the cellar with his wife and daughter who's been bitten. This argument from Pathos doesn't really work on Ben, who responds with a smooth-ass diss.
Well, you're her father. If you're stupid enough to go die in that trap, that's your business. However, I am not stupid enough to follow you. It is tough for the kid that her old man is so stupid.
Harry tells them all he's not gonna unbar the door anymore, and Tom gets his girlfriend Judy out of there before the Berlin door goes up. Downstairs, Harry checks in on his ailing daughter and his freaking beautiful, elegant-looking wife, who also gets a dig in on Harry.
I didn't know who they were, and I wasn't about to take any unnecessary chances.
Of course not, Harry.
No wonder this guy's so pissed. Everyone's always talking righteous shit about him. She gets even more upset when she finds out there's a radio up there, so everyone does a Mad Hatter-style change of places, with Judy babysitting Karen while the Coopers go upstairs. The group finds a TV where a reporter again reiterates that people are being eaten, but also delivers this hot scoop.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder.
And thus the modern zombie was born. He says that people need to GTFO over wherever they're hiding and get to rescue stations set up by the military, and also mentions that this whole situation may be caused by radiation from a satellite recently returned from Venus. Yeah, I guess that little tidbit didn't quite make its way into future popular depictions of zombies. This one did though.
Well, how long after death then does the body become reactivated?
It's only a matter of minutes.
So yeah, maybe double check that Kid Cooper down there is still breathing. They embark on a plan to gas up the truck so they can get to a rescue station, but only after Tom and Judy steam up the place with this sexy makeout session. Oh boy, y'all gotta get the Hays Code reenacted. As Harry throws Molotov cocktails from the upstairs window, Ben and Tom rush out to the truck. Judy freaks out and follows because she just can't stand the thought of being separated from Tommy Hot Lips. They fend off the zombies with a torch and get to the pump, but when the key doesn't work, Ben shoots it with the shotgun and Tom friggin' sprays the truck down with gas. This just makes me question if people knew how gasoline worked in 1968. These guys apparently don't, because the truck catches fire. Tom and Judy know the best way to deal with fire is to just run away! So they drive off, but when they stop and try to get out, Judy gets ambiguously stuck. The truck blows up and the star-crossed lovers are instantly incinerated. They're later eaten by the zombies, which I remember made me cry as a kid, and my mom tried to comfort me by saying they were just like fried chicken for the zombies now. I think it worked at the time, but in retrospect, what the fuck kind of comfort is that to offer your 6-year-old child, Mom? When Ben gets back to the house, he finds himself locked out because of Harry, so he has to bust in and give Cooper a cold-ass Luigi death stare. After boarding the door back up, he gives Harry a beatdown, just punching him all over the house. Face punches, apparently the cure for hysteria and cowardice. After that, it's time to advance the plot with another news report, and the anchor tells us that armed posses are out trying to restore order and that ghouls can only be killed by a shot to the head.
Kill the brain, and you kill the ghoul.
This news report also gives us the best freaking line in the movie when the police chief gets interviewed by a reporter.
Are they slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
All of a sudden the lights go out and Harry tells his wife about how he wants to get that gun because he don't trust Ben. The zombies take tools to start breaking through the barricades. Again, kinda weird to see, but their methods prove effective as they distract Ben enough for him to drop the gun. Harry grabs it and points it at Ben, so when Ben has the opportunity, he knocks it out of Harry's hand and wrestles it back from him. Then he just straight up shoots Harry in the chest, who stumbles down into the cellar and dies at the foot of his daughter's sickbed. Not sure about the ethics of what Ben did, but you know, that's what you get for being such a little shit, Harry. Back upstairs, Helen escapes the frisky zombies and comes downstairs to find Karen nomming on her pops. With Karen having died for sure now, we can put her on the kill count as our 5th victim in the film. She's just gotta have her pops. Karen then slowly shambles towards her mother, and the film's most infamous scene begins after Helen trips and falls onto the ground. Karen grabs a trowel and stabs her mom over and over again as some crazy sounding effects warp Helen's screams into terrifying nightmare echoes. It doesn't matter how old this movie gets, this scene is always gonna stick with you. Upstairs, the last two humans are losing their battle against the invading hordes, and things only get worse when zombie Johnny shows up. He's coming to get you, Barbara. And get her he does, pulling her out into the sea of the undead outside so they can all eat her up. No final girl in this one, sorry folks, and it's only gonna get bleaker. The zombie house party gets real bumpin', with everyone's favorite cemetery ghoul dropping by to make an appearance, and Karen coming up from upstairs to get in on the action. Hey, that kid don't look 21, get her out of here before she gets us all in trouble. Ben locks himself in the cellar, somewhat ironically, since he spent the whole movie telling Harry it was a death trap. But I guess he was right to some degree after he finds Harry and Helen both dead on the ground. Harry starts to reanimate, but Ben puts him down. Then before he can even get a breather, Helen reanimates too, but he's quick to shut that shit down as well. Then he takes a knee like he just got iced and bunkers down for a long night in the basement while the zombie party rages on upstairs. Morning comes, and for once, we're supposed to feel relieved by a huge group of armed rednecks on the prowl. These guys are gonna rescue our hero, right? And we're finally gonna have a happy moment in this movie full of despair? After all, they've got great aim, putting down plenty of zombies from far away. And look, Ben, the zombie house party's finally over. I bet they played some zombie semisonic and cleared the place out. But no, sorry folks, the yokels see Ben in the window and think he's a zombie, so they fucking shoot him right in the head. Our fearless hero is killed right at the very end, just when there was finally some hope. A series of stills shows his body being dragged out of the farmhouse with meat hooks, where it's thrown onto a heap next to Cemetery Zombie and burned. It's gotta be one of the biggest downers of an ending I've ever seen, and it's just one more thing that makes this movie so impactful in spite of its cheap production. Let's cheer ourselves up with some cold hard statistics and get to the numbers. Brains! 8 people die in Night of the Living Dead, basically every named character. The victims included 4 females and 4 males, an even 50-50 split between genders. At a runtime of 96 minutes, that comes out to a kill on average every 12 minutes flat. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest death to Helen Cooper. Not only is it the most bloody, but it's also got those crazy sound effects, and it's just freaking intense, man. We're watching a little girl stab her mother a metric fuck ton of times. Crazy. Dull Machete is gonna go to Johnny. Dude fucks around in a graveyard then gets his head busted open on a tombstone. This is why you gotta show respect for the dead, dog. Shouldn't have been so ignorant. And that's it. Night of the Living Dead was released in 1968 by George Romero, who co-wrote, directed, did cinematography for, and edited this movie. Its impact on the genre and pop culture at large is immeasurable, and Romero will forever be missed for all he's done. I can't do the rest of his films immediately, but bet your ass I'll do them when I can. Until then, I'm James A. Janisse. This has been The Kill Count. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching The Kill Count for Night of the Living Dead. If you've never seen it, it's a classic, so do yourself a favor and watch it. It's free to watch on YouTube. I want to thank some of my patrons like Alan Watterson, Kieran Nichols, Stephen Charles, and Harry Knott. If you want to join the Patreon family for as little as $1 a month, click that button right over there to do so. It does a lot to support me and make this channel better. Next week is Get Out. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.